Selflessness is good. Don't get me wrong. Selfless is good. Humility is good. Being humble is what we should strive to be, but we should not do it in a place where we are constantly ignoring our own needs, whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever it is. We needs to be balanced. So how do you do that as a leader?
Turn this up, turn this up.
Your professional development is one of the keys to your career success. When you combine your desire to grow with actionable steps, your journey to success becomes an incredible reality.
Hi, I'm Paul Faronbi, aka IncrediPaul, and welcome to IncrediPaul Leadership, where we learn how to become the most incredible versions of ourselves by learning from each other. First off, if you're only listening to this episode, I want you to know that you can also watch it on YouTube. Regardless if you're listening or watching this episode, I really appreciate your support. Another thing I want you to know is you can pick up the Be Incredible Starter Pack. It includes a leadership masterclass, budget and resume template, and interview guide. Basically, the things you need to become the most incredible versions of yourselves, in addition to the podcast. And I should mention that it is completely free. All you got to do is go to incredipaul.org/start to learn more about how you can get all that information. So with this episode, I wanted to dive deeper into men's mental health. And I think it's something that is really critical that I've learned, especially for Black men, is that we don't talk enough about mental health. So I had the guest on last week, Lucas Crump, was talking about all he does with every man. And so I thought maybe I should dive a little bit deeper about mental health just in general, and then sharing some stories for myself too. So it's very important with leadership to be vulnerable. I know with mental health, it's definitely become more prevalent and we're learning about how to navigate these things. But oftentimes with leadership, we are not getting the help we need to make sure we are showing up the best for our people or even for others. So I say that I am a person of faith, Jesus first, and I am second. And one of the things that Jesus said was to love your neighbor as yourself. But how can you love your neighbor if you don't know how to properly love yourself? And with that means your mental health. And so with that, I've become a big proponent of therapy or counseling when it's done in the right way. I think sometimes counseling can get people down a path where they kind of are in the same cycle and they don't break a cycle. So, or maybe they just don't know the right counselor or therapist to even reach out to. I think that's also key. But I think the key thing is to make sure you're prioritizing your mental health in some way, whether it's directly with a counselor or therapist, maybe a trusted friend, but making sure that you are thinking about how you are showing up. I will say for myself personally, I was not someone that always thought about my own personal mental health. I've said it before in the podcast, as a recovering people pleaser, I thought about the people around me, people I was in the closest intimate relationships with. I thought about their happiness and their mental health above my own. I didn't even take the time to think about my own. And sometimes when I took the time to think about my own, it was not always received in the best way. So I just kind of shut it down and just left it to be. Not to say that was the best way to go about it, but it was just what I knew at the time. But what I've been learning is whether or not you are actively working through it, it's still affecting you. So there's different ways that showed up in the past. With a lot of it was with people pleasing, because I thought I just wanted to make everyone else happy and I didn't think about my own happiness, and then added a lot more stress to myself, all these different things. And I think some of that helps me in a way because I am definitely someone that likes to achieve. It's one of my 5 strengths on Strength Finders is achiever. But there is a balance to how much stress you should have in your life and the cortisol levels, all those different things. So really understanding what are the things that are driving you and is it people pleasing or not? So one thing I've been learning is a lot of people have fallen into this people pleasing trap of putting others first and not really taking care of themselves and saying it's being selfless. Selflessness is good. Don't get me wrong. Selfless is good. Humility is good. Being humble is what we should strive to be. but we should not do it in a place where we are constantly ignoring our own needs, whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever it is. We needs to be balanced. So how do you do that as a leader? I think the key thing, and I will say right off the bat, I am not a licensed therapist or counselor, any of those things. So this is just stuff that I've been learning, and it's an impart on me that I can share, at least to start off. I say, like, if you want to actually go deeper, you can do some reading. I definitely say reach out to a therapist or a counselor. And I also say that a lot of times if you're working in a W-2 job, like a lot of these corporate environments will have third-party counselors that you can talk to completely for free. So you can take advantage of that. But I think a key thing is just to make sure that you are reflecting. And I think that's something I've been realizing more and more how key reflection is, because we live in such a fast-paced environment. And I had a conversation on another podcast about how often we should be reflecting. And for me, I was just doing a quarterly reflection, and I thought that was enough. But really realizing that I should be reflecting more often. So I since changed the frequency on my calendar, because live and die on my calendar. I since changed that frequency to reflecting weekly. I will tell you that I am not always good at reflecting weekly. And then I'm supposed to do a success log daily as well, talk about the things I've done well, as well as things I can do going forward. So not good at that as well. I've been better at in the past. Consistently tried to get onto that routine. I think I have been distracting myself, because just to say that there's just been a lot of stress in my life with some things that I've had to deal with after ending a relationship and having to manage two different properties and things like that, and not be able to sell one and all those things. And I won't get too much into, but it's just added some stress that I had to work through. All that to say, you are not going to understand how you're doing until you check in with yourself. And I think that's why having a counselor and therapist is so helpful, because you have those regular check-ins, but you can also do it yourself or with a trusted friend. What you have to be mindful of is whoever you're doing it with is actually challenging you. So one thing, like talking with my therapist, was that depending on your emotional makeup, it's like sometimes a therapist will take some time and build relationship before they'll challenge you, or they'll challenge you right away. But if you really are all about becoming the most incredible version of yourself, which I know you are because you listen or you watch this show, you need to find someone that challenges you. You cannot just keep doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity, like Albert Einstein has said. So with that, if you have not watched the previous episode, definitely go back and watch it, connect with all the incredible things that Lucas Trump is doing, and really think about, how am I showing up for myself and for my people? And maybe you say like, oh, Paul, I don't have people. Like, I'm just an individual contributor. How are you showing up for your coworkers? A lot of times we don't realize that the different things we're going through emotionally, it affects our work. It doesn't always show up in the most open ways, but it can affect our work. People can tell when your mood is a little bit off. Maybe you're not as talkative, all these different things. Some people can hide it better than others, or maybe you're in a new company or a new position and they don't know you as well. So they don't know what your baseline is. But I think being intentional about taking care of yourself as much as you can, if you have the opportunity to use a sick day for a mental health day, if something's going on, take it. If you have someone, I think a big one is sometimes someone like a close family member will pass away and people don't take advantage of the bereavement time. And I think that's something that you need to do. At the end of the day, like, work goes on. I think some jobs are better at this than others, but work goes on. Do not sacrifice your emotional and mental health for your job consistently. I'm not saying that you shouldn't sacrifice ever. I think it ebbs and flows. Like, some things are really critical. You need to get this stuff done. Other times is not as stressful. The key thing is it consistent or not? You're not going to know if it's consistent unless you're reflecting. So key thing, reflect on your mental health. Tap into people who are pouring into you. Maybe you're someone that's always pouring into others, who is pouring into you. I know for myself, I tend to be the friend that people come to or ask about different things, but I also have friends that I can come to or ask different things and just talk things out. And I have a really good friend that for a while there we were connecting with each other every week, and we were just talking things out, like just how crazy life was or life is. And I think it's important to have those relationships that are mutually beneficial, not just one-sided. What I've been learning is the length of relationship does not have a bearing of the depth of it. There's people that you may have known for a while, but that doesn't necessarily mean you are as close of friends with them as people you've known for a lesser amount of time. It's all about what it's all about the emotional intelligence and well as the emotional maturity these people have in order to understand you and manage their own emotions and manage your emotions. Ultimately, you have to manage your own emotions. You should not expect someone to manage your emotions for you, but there's also people that don't know what to do when you're expressing any type of emotion. So there's that. I'm not someone that's very emotional expressive. I usually show up as happy, regardless if I am happy or not. I try to show up positive, but I'll be honest. If things are not going well, so like, hey, things aren't going well, but I'm focusing on what's positive. I don't want to go down the path of toxic positivity where I'm not trying to actually fix the problem. I'm just saying everything's going to be okay. But I also, at the same time, I'm not focusing in on all the stuff that's negative. So it's a balance, not perfect, always working on improvement. It's a whole meaning of this show. And this episode is a little bit different in last episode too. But I think it's really critical in leadership that we are making sure that we show up for ourselves first. If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of our people and we can't truly be incredible.
Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. We'll see you here next time. And be incredible. Incredible.